Well, hello everyone. Happy Throwback Thursday, and the rotation leads us to a Bionicle review, and this one's on what you're looking at. Makuta Bitil and also Toa Onua of the Mistika from 2008. So as for the cancer entry for Bitil, which only entry that I have here is, so you have the Bionicle logo. It says Bitil there, and picture of Bitil in action, flying off, shooting his Naira Ghost Blaster, and little Lego logo, Mistika logo down below, and recommended ages is 7 to 16. Set number 8696 has 54 pieces, and then a little hint of the code Drex. Looks right there. And then as the canister lid of which, just the Kanoe Ignika Mask of Life. But as you see, where it's like kind of a split thing, where like one side's all nice and clean, but the other quite rough and scratched up. Since on the Toa canisters had it faced this way, but on all the Makutas were like this. Well, obviously to differentiate good and evil, and then have this little bit here, which also went on to most of the canisters the following year there as well, and then other side of which have the Bonk logo and a little bit of Card Nui, kind of like how with the Toa Nika that had Void Nui on there. And then backside, which is how Gavla attaches to him as well. And then the Mistika Bonkalo goes again, shooting the Naira Ghost Blaster, him getting Bitil being put back in the canister, and also the bio code, which is no longer valid, I believe. And then have little pics of all the Mistika along the side in the usual warnings and barcode and all. But, yeah. Oh, and also to mention is why exactly let him connect with Gavla since he is stone kind of character when he could have had a Kurop, which is an Earth one, well, and have Gavla here be attached with Krika. Then not sure why that is, but whatever. So I guess that is about it with the caster. And now onto the manuals, which as you see, same pictures as on the front and everything. Well, one of which has just a few steps of building the Naira Ghost Blaster and then shooting off as well. And on the backside, how to win on the online survey out of Lego Club and attaching Gavla to Bitil, well, obviously, and all 6 Mistika there. And then all the pieces included in the last building steps. Then how to attach Photok to Onua, which I'll do in this review, and all 6 Mistika again. So first off is Toa Onua, which from first glance, which is quite different and unique than the first 2 versions of Onua and the Generation 2 versions of Onua, since, well, because obviously at this time the Toa weren't quite resembling their usual previous selves. And also, let me get this out of the way to look better. Whoops. And then as for the feet, which are the spiky Toa Nika feet, but in black, like we saw on Hukimari, on Tomari Huki, the previous year. But however, these are which kind of fitting to him, although kind of resembling that of the clawed feet that Master Onua had in 2015 Gen 2, of course. And then as for the lower limb, lower ankle, or for the shin parts, which are just the rock sheet limbs, but in silver, which you use on both limbs for that. And of course, he which has a lot less silver than that, which kind of fits that. Unlike with Gali and Tahu, who have more silver than him. So just like Gray with the Fantoka ones. But unlike with most sets, he actually has bits going through them to attach these jet engine parts in the back of his legs. but also these jet engines and also wings on the arms, which I'll show in a bit, are in red. But I'm not sure why in red when these could have been on Tahu, and use these may probably make these in black, which would be great for that. Would have been great to have these in black extension for mocking, but for whatever reason in red, but still kind of workable. But yeah. And then as for the thigh parts, which they're just the usual Toa Inaka armor pieces, or thigh armor and viscerac limbs, obviously. Then on to the main body part, which is just as a basic Toa Inaka torso bit, and look from the back of which, and then there's his Mator connector, which I'll show a little bit later, and as you see, it's a little different than all the rest of the Toa sets, and also same with Fantoka Pohatu, of course, but actually much different than that, but just in the way it's built and all. And then as for the front part, which does have this waist armor, which Chirox and Mutran had in the Winter Wave Fantoka, but also carried on to Matanui in Kotorian Legends the following year, of course. And then also, like that end has this unique armor piece to there, which also with Krika in this wave as well, but that was in white. Matanui's the following year was in Keytorn for that, but this is in black for that. So of course, so at least decided to make an all new different armor piece just for this wave for that, and also it kind of connects the head part to it, so that way there's a spot for the armor piece to attach onto. Although it could have worked out if it were built the same way as some of the other Toa as well, but that's just a minor thought. Then as for the arms of which, as you see, just the traditional of Viscerac limbs and Rachi limb in silver and Anika armor there, and also these mini wing pieces, which first time ever introduced in sets at this time. But again, these in light red, although I think could have been better in either silver or black, which more fitting to Onua. And then aside from that, then it goes down to the traditional hand pieces. Although what I think could have been neat is maybe how the Inaka Nukuru arm pieces, or the kind of hand pieces that were used on Gorast, and also which you'll see on Bitil, maybe could have been used on here to represent the claws of the original Toamata Onua, but maybe that would be a little too much. But yeah. Then as for the other armor, which same stuff going on, but wings kind of extended a bit, so there's an extra bit to hold this armor or shield part of it, or side shield part, which were all new for this wave, and then also got used on plenty of other sets. It's a few years after, but also you'll see this on Bitil, but as wings for that. And then his main weapon, it is the Naira Ghost Blaster. Let me take this off. And I take this part off. Have the Naira Ghost Blaster here, which on all the Toa sets, the missile parts are in a gunmetal gray and the pump is in gray. But as you'll see on Patil and the Makutas, have it in like red and green. And like the Kordak blasters and all, can like push this and fires like so. And well, does fire pretty well for that. And also these missiles do look kind of a bit like Kordak blaster missiles, but yeah. And then, and if you know how Gali has a scope kind of bit on hers, of which, but Onua here has this large covering part that holds a lightsaber bar piece as a laser ammo for that, which you can cover on it and let them hold it, sort of a machine gun kind of style. Okay. And luckily, unlike Golly's, which does have the two swivel pins, so you can swivel the hands around it instead of being all stationary. Then. And then as for the head part, which just a traditional Toametru headpiece, and also the cut in half eye stock piece with the plus rod in it, which Kongumari the year prior first introduced, and then was also used on most of the sets in this year, of course. And then as for the mask part, of which the Kanoe Pakari of that, but different unique shape to it, of which not closely resembling Onua's, or the classic Onua masks, or Generation 2 Onua's masks. But however, if you know, it's kind of a bit Mask of Shadow resembling, but however, kind of flat disc-like then, but at least kind of tilted to the mouth part. And like some of the other set masks at this time, does have a too long plus rod kind of sticking on there instead of it being like part of it. Not kind of strange how that is, but whatever. And so now on, as I get folk talk here and get them in position, and these two holes on here connect to here, which like so. And with photon on, which kind of bit it up a ways a bit, although I think it could have worked out as well down lower, but yeah. And that was about it with Onua. And now onto Makuta Bitil, which quite a neat shaping, and of course resembling an insect, which the other two also quite did, which other two Makutas of this year also did. And well, mainly Gorast the most, and also since he may be the stone character, but instead of brown, instead has bright yellow, so major touch to this set. So now, as for the Bitil, which are these all new kind of foot pieces. These all new kind of foot pieces, which were also used on Gorast, but they were in black and lime green at the top, but in this case are used in silver for that. But luckily, nice to have new kind of foot piece, so at least we didn't get quite repetitive with the Paraka feet thing. But however, these would work out quite well since having axle rod connection on the side. Then the shin or limb pieces, which are just traditional Roxy limbs, but in yellow or bright yellow. Quite nice and great to use for mocking, obviously. Then as for the upper part of which does have these kind of claw bits, which Gorasts use as claws for that, but used as armor pieces here. Which obviously that Gresh in the Glatorian's Wave the following year also used these, but kind of the same design, but in different colors for that. So not sure if it was like a laziness factor or that it just kind of worked for the set for that set, and here which works out as well. And then as for the main torso part, which is just an Avatar and Shalmatoran body part, or traditional body, but faced like this. Now, I'm not sure exactly why I use this kind, although I think just a traditional Metru waist and Paraka torso could have worked out just fine. Or even the torso piece from Fantoka Pohatu and Kongumari also could have worked out evenly as well, but whatever. But however, it still kind of it works out as well, despite of how proportional the figure is. But yeah. And as for the arms, which, as you can see, which are just the Viscerac limbs and also a couple of the red spike pieces, sort of like what Baraki Takadox, the prior year to this, was also kind of, but not sure why it made these in red for that kind of sticks out a bit. Although I think what could have been better is maybe a shoulder pad piece, like a Nike shoulder pad piece, and these spike pieces in either black or yellow, mostly probably yellow, could be on that. So maybe that would boost, although that could boost the key piece count up a bit, but although that's still workable, but that's just me. But yeah, then having rocky limb, yellow again, and then also these all new kind of sword pieces here, which we didn't get to see on any sets, well, until Baranus V7 the following year, of course. But however, kind of an interesting look to them, like a couple serrades on the sides and the bottom part, and on kind of ending to it, and also three pinholes and a plus connection to that to attach it onto there, like so. And then onto the other side of which is kind of the same thing, but just turned sideways and to hold the Naira Ghost Blaster onto. And like the others, press this and oops, fire like so. Although this part of which kind of reminiscent to that of Elec and Predak from the 2007 Baraki wave for that, but when they were with the squid launchers for that. And so kind of nice to see, kind of interesting seeing that here again, but yeah. And also, as the Ghost Blasters, one kind of a bit weak for that, but at least they kind of fixed that with the Thornax launchers the following year, but yeah. And then as on the back side of him, do you have those shield parts like we just saw on Onua for that, but in this case used as wings, and also are kind of double jointed with these Slicer Throwbot arm and Toamata arm pieces, but in yellow, which Tellerus in Scopio XP1 the following year also had. But and just have a kind of 5 long beam inside there, but mainly to hold the Matoran connector onto, but with the wings folded out, then it kind of covers it. But yeah. Then as for the head part, which does have one of those new later style connector joint bits, but used as a double jointed neck. And then the head part of which as you see, which is made of mostly just a Vaki headpiece, which hasn't been used in quite a couple of years, well, since Rudakan in 2005. Well, it was quite great seeing that piece here since it's been quite a while, so good to see that just before the wrapping up of the theme. But yeah. And then as for the head part of which does have the Borak eye tooth pieces in trans orange, also like we saw on Gorast, of course. And then as for this part, which has a very insect-like with a couple mandibles held on with pistons on the sides and kind of a texture going from brightish black to darker black then. And also the mask that is kind of used for him to go back in the past and get back other versions of him from the past. And also down below is a few bits of teeth onto there. And of course, kind of odd seeing it like that. And of course, kind of the same with like Vorox the following wave. But yeah. Let me get them together. So now onto the final verdict. Is overall, I think these are which are quite cool sets, like for the time, and they still kind of hold up for that. Well, although Onua may not closely resemble all the versions of Onua, but at least they kind of did all right for him. Like the mask pieces, still kind of the good parts of that. Same with Bitil, and Bitil, which great to have a lot of pieces in yellow well, for that. Although I think both of these sets could have been a little better for that, like better armoring on them, and also would have liked to see the red parts of Onua be colored in silver or black. Uh, Maybe y'all can add that on if you wanted. And also, nice to have some new sword piece on Bitil, obviously. And, well, I guess that. And what else is there? Not much, but yeah. And also, the price point of these two sets back in 2008, $13. Well, which is where they. And so at this point is when they went up $3 from the original $10 then. And then up 15 in at end of Hero Factory. Well, since of course it was just about times of change. But however, despite that, still quite good for how they are. And that's about it. Even regardless of inflation and so on, but yeah. And so now, if any of you still have these sets from back in the day, well, I hope you had some good memories of them. And for those of you who haven't and are still looking to get these sets, I'd say definitely pick them up. eBay Bricklink or Mercari or Bricks and Minifigs, whatever. And that is it with this video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.